All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what are the sound differences between the Kemper and between the ToneX pedal? I mean, that's a question that a lot of people have, especially you Kemper owners like myself. I have a Kemper right over there, and that new ToneX pedal is sitting right down there. And so a lot of people want to know, how do they really compare with each other? And there's some other folks out there who've done some videos out there kind of demonstrating that. But I'd like to share some misinformation or should I say, there's a lot of people who misunderstand the way these devices work. Whether it's this, whether it's a ToneX, whether it's a Kemper, or even to some degree the Quad Cortex, okay? Any of the devices that use a profiler, slice capture, tomato, it's all basically the same concept behind it. It's where they're not digitally recreating an amp. It's basically taking a snapshot of the amp at the time, and those are some of the differences. But as an example, right, if you buy an Axe-Fx or a Line 6 Helix or something along those lines, you know, they're going to come loaded with presets, right? They're going to have presets. But if you were to wipe all of those presets out, you could still start from scratch and create amp tones. You would have to create your own presets. So therefore, the Line 6 Helix as well as the Axe-Fx, they have a sound in them. They create a sound. They're designed to emulate and recreate the sounds of many popular amplifiers. Whereas things like the ToneX pedal, as well as the Kemper, there's no sounds in this. It does not make, well, I'm not going to say there's no sounds in it. It does not make sounds. If you wipe all the profiles from this or the Kemper, you got nada. You got squat. In other words, it makes no sounds. It can only, like a playback engine, like you're going to play a DVD or something like that. It's like hitting your play button to play something that someone else created. All right. And so they don't have a sound, which is why I'm not going to demonstrate for you today the sound of the Kemper versus the sound of the ToneX, because they both inherently don't have a sound. Now, you could argue that one captures the profile of an amp better. And there are a lot of opinions out there. In other words, some may say the ToneX technology has advanced beyond the Kemper, and it can actually capture / profile the amp better in really kind of getting down those fine nuances that maybe some people felt the Kemper didn't quite get. This is one of the reasons why I think practically every video, and I literally mean practically every single video that I've personally seen, doesn't mean everyone that's been done, demonstrating the Kemper against other type units, is those people are trying to profile their own amps or capture their own amps. People keep getting hung up on that for some reason, but it's the same thing. They're trying to recreate the sound of their amps. Here's the reality. Most people who own a Kemper, and this will end up being the exact same way with a ToneX pedal, are not going to capture their own amps. They're going to try it, they're going to experiment with it, and they're going to realize, hey, I kind of suck at this. I'm not that good at it. Because there's an art form to that. There's so many components involved in being able to get the very best profile. The vast majority of us, including myself, and including most people, I think, who use the Kemper. Now, if you profile your amps, understand that you're probably in the minority here. That's my opinion. That's why people like Michael Britt, Tone Junkie, as well as so many others, have made a side business and a decent living from creating profiles of some of the very best amps in the world. And so they've got that technology down. They've got that, not technology, they've got that process down. They've got it nailed, and there's so many components between using the right mic, getting that mic placement right, either blending like an SM57 and a Royer 121, blending those together to get that ultimate sound. Well, how does one blend versus other? How do they hear it? Everybody hears these things differently. That's why all mix engineers are not going to mix the same song the same way. They hear it differently. And so at the end of the day, between that and the mic preamps that are chosen, the quality of the interface that they're recording it with, as well as all of the things that you do with either the ToneX software to be able to tweak the profile just to get it right, or within the Kemper. These are all very small little details that most people simply are not likely to take the time to learn that and master. The key to that is master that. That's why it's so easy just to find somebody out there like a Michael Brett, like a Tone Junkie and some others who have an incredible track record of being able to get this stuff right. And so you buy your amp profiles from them. Most people, once they finally wrap their head around this, they're going to dabble around in the community and the free uploads and everyone else is doing. And then somebody's going to turn them on to somebody like one of the guys that I just mentioned once they start getting a good selection of profiles for this or captures. And they're going to start buying them because they're going to realize that other people are better at it than they are. When I bought the ToneX, my first question was, okay, when I get this, Barry, what are you going to do? Are you going to get rid of your Kemper? And in the back of my mind, I'm not going to lie, it has crossed my mind because I think I paid $1,600 for this. I think this is under $5. I think, $399 or something like that? A fraction of the cost, right? Basically less than a third of the cost of the Kemper. Would I really get rid of my Kemper and try to get back some of my money from that and then just utilize this? And I pondered that question. Well, now having used this alongside my Kemper for now about a month and a half, I don't have any intention of doing that. If you're a Kemper owner, are some of the tweaks and advantages enough to get you over the hump to sell that Kemper and go for this? You should consider not doing that is what I'm saying. The manufacturer of Kemper is already coming out with some new technology on how to be able to tweak profiles, which is kind of revolutionary in its own, where you can actually physically adjust the gain and adjust the amp controls like you can in a modeler. And for those you don't understand, you just cannot do that in the same way with either the ToneX or the Kemper. Yes, they may have some tone controls on them, but that's more like adding an equalizer after your amp. There's not enough in here that's compelling to make me sell the Kemper to get the ToneX pedal. That said, if I was just starting out and I did not own either, I would buy the ToneX pedal. It's a lesser expensive way to get into it, and quite frankly, at the very least, you can get the exact same results, if not just a little bit better results. In a dense mix, I don't think any of these things, the differences between these are really going to add up. And for those of you purists out there that want to say yes, it will, especially those of you guys that don't want to have anything to do with this and just use your amps, saying yes, it will make a difference. Well, if you record and you're saying that, then you should not be using plugins, should you? You just need to stop using plugins right now, and you need to go out and buy 10 times the amount of hardware I've got behind me if you're going to stick with that way of thinking. Because there is an improvement in this hardware over the plugin. Anybody who's had any experience with it would have to be out of their mind to say that it doesn't sound better, okay? But is it worth it? Is it worth it? And for the overwhelming vast majority of the people, the answer to that is simple. No, it's not. Hopefully, I've kind of given you a few things to consider here. So ultimately, the question is, all right, Barry, you've decided you're not going to sell your Kemper. Why not? I've already invested a lot of money in some amazing profiles done by some of the best people out there that, quite frankly, get me the results I need. I do love this unit. I'm going to flat out tell you, I love it. And I think it's worth every penny they're charging for it. Now, only you can decide, is it worth it to buy this box or go up to the HX Stomp, for example, which is a few $100s more. So what are you getting for that few $100s? You're getting digital effects, right? And only you can decide whether that money is worth that for you or not, or whether you have other tools to be able to fill that void. So if you've got a Kemper, think about it before you sell it. So if you like the things I talk about on this channel, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, notify, all that stuff. Leave me some comments down below. Now. If you stayed this long, freaking listen to me. Don't be a jerk. If I've said something that's touched on a nerve and you disagree with it, and you in your mind think everybody looks at things the same way you do, don't be a jerk in your comments. Let's have intelligent conversation, okay? For the vast majority of my viewers, I get nothing but positive comments, even when they disagree. But the jerks out there, well, there's no patience for that on this particular channel. So until next time, have a great day. Be a nice person. Be kind. Do something nice for somebody today. Bye-bye.